Yeah. Oh my gosh. Excitement. I was really proud and excited for Bev. What an opportunity. Absolutely deserved. She's been tremendous for this group. Um, I probably didn't look, I was like smiling, but in my head, I was like jumping up and down. And I think that was kind of the response from everybody, is just like pure joy and just real excitement. I think we really believe in Bev, and she definitely has the respect of the group, which I think is really important in the NWSL. And I think, like Jeff said, he was going to run through a brick wall. Even I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, I'll go right now. And I think that honestly was, kind of the mentality with Bev this entire year. And I think we're really, really excited to get going.
Throughout this whole process, Ryan said that player input was going to play a big factor. Going through it and finding out, obviously, Bev was a huge candidate in this. What was that like? And kind of maybe what was some of yours, maybe other players' desire to have her?
Yeah, I mean, I think as soon as she came in, we were all really ecstatic just from last season. I think, the sessions that she runs are really, really fun, really detail oriented, like they said out there. Her attention to detail is something that is really important in this league, because I think the details end up winning you the league or not winning you the league. And I think, the teams that do stuff really well are the ones that are consistent with the details, and just to have somebody that is that detail oriented is really paramount for this type of group. But I think throughout the year, we all have been kind of giving input about how important Bev has been to us, and, what a role model she's been, and, how excited we were to have her. And I think you could go to anyone on the group and they would all say pretty much the same things of how, lucky we are to have her. So I think that throughout that span of the year, and then towards the end, obviously, we were all pushing for her, but, ultimately it's, the ownership group's decision, and Ryan's, and I think we made a great choice.
Her being a former player, how much easier is it to kind of bounce ideas off her and vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just gives you an added layer, right? So to have someone that's been through the spectrum of things and then gone on to coach, I think it gives you, she has that perspective that we have, right? So I think that that's honestly what makes her so special, obviously among other reasons, but I think that is such an important part of what makes her so great, is she's been there. So she understands, the highs and the lows of the game, what's really important, right? The details, like I said. So I think, and obviously she was a tremendous player, so I'm not taking that away from her either. I think, that obviously plays a real big role into how you end up as a coach as well. So I think, having that knowledge is really, really important. And she's awesome. So
with change, obviously there's expectations that come with that. So now that Bev is taking over, what are those expectations of her and of this group as a whole with her taking over?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the expectation in the NWSL is to win, but I think, her thought process of development, I think, is really important, right? Because you like she said, everyone does want to get better. So from the rookies up to, the 10-year vets, everybody is looking for that development year after year. And I think when you start to stack those years of development and then experience, that's when you find really successful teams, right? So I think that we obviously really want to win, but I think that, that development will just push us even further. I think we were really close last year, but I think, like I said, she has the respect of the group, and anything she's saying and wants to push us in, I think we're absolutely on board with that. So I think, her vision is something that we're obviously going to get on board with. So I'm really excited to see what she brings to the table.
Do you think that vision can potentially push this team over the top in the long run? And if so, how?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that, she is really brilliant tactically. And I think you've seen that throughout the year, like her bringing players aside and giving us little tactical adjustments, honestly has really improved my game. And I think, a lot of other players. And so I think when you put that together into a head coach and make it a collective, then everybody's on the same page. And so I think getting on the same page, having that vision, having that identity, right? Like she said, blue collar, if once we have all of those things in place, I think that that's a much easier process for us all to follow through. I think we're creatures of habit, right? So if we don't have those things to outline our play, then it's really hard for us to jump to the next level. So I think having that in play, having that vision, having all of the things that Bev brings, I think is easily going to push us to the next level.
I do have a couple from the Zoom. I'll just read you this one.
Woohoo.
Steph at the Athletic.
Yeah.
Bev has talked about different players needing different things to buy in. With Bev having already helped coach the team, what do you feel is the level of buy-in among the players? What does Bev do that makes you want to buy in? Do you think that may change or take a different form with her as the head coach versus the assistant, given her responsibilities will expand?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I've said before, like the buy-in is 100%. And I think that she already knows a lot of the players, which I think, again, adds another level of importance for us. I think once you get to know players, you understand what their limits are, how to be pushed, when to be pushed, the type of approach you take to each player, because everyone's different, right? We all have different personalities, and melding that is what makes a really good coach and a good team. So no, I don't think it's going to change that much. I think, she was already pushing the group a lot. And so I think that that's just, a little bit of an added bonus for us. And as a head coach, I absolutely think she'll continue to push us and be really attentive to details. And I'm really excited, honestly, to see where that goes.
And Max, I don't know if you can hear me, but you can go ahead. I think you can unmute yourself.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
I think well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I lost my voice, but Lauren, this is obviously sorry, only your guys' you guys are a young franchise. It was only your third year. How important is it to have kind of someone who's already been an assistant and someone who can bring like the continuity, over time? Because obviously, like, establishing that is important, but how important is that to have someone who's already been there for at least a year?
Yeah, I mean, I think being here from the beginning to the end, we've obviously had a lot of change. And I do think there is some importance, like being placed in continuity and having that. Not a ton of change, but obviously it's the NWSL. You can't expect to not have changes. It's just the way of, pro sports. But I think having Bev, someone we're familiar with, someone who's run a lot of our sessions, who we've heard a lot of, I think that's really important. And I'm really excited to see, her ideas as a head coach. Obviously, as an assistant, I think you're kind of in the mode of the head coach a little bit, but I'm really excited to see what type of ideas she brings as a head coach. And I think that, us already knowing the types of sessions she runs, like the type of human being she is, I just think that makes a big difference for us, at least. And I think that that's like less stressful, because I think anytime a new head coach comes in that you're not completely aware of, it's a lot of getting to know them. And I think that takes a little bit of time. So I think we can kind of honestly jump right in with Bev and hit the ground running as soon as preseason starts, which is awesome.
One more from Becky Morgan. Said, as a player who has expressed interest in becoming a coach yourself in the future, what does it mean to see former players in the league ascend to these head coaching positions?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm literally headed to a session tonight. But it's really honestly so cool. And I've expressed this before, but like, what a role model to have Bev. Even in my own personal coaching journey, I think that she's a very good example of what you can achieve as a female in sports, but just that next level of coaching and, how important it is to be players and then coaches. I don't think there's enough women in that, field in general. So I think having Bev right at your doorstep to, ask questions about, like, I've even gone to her with the B and asked her questions, and even with the C. So I think that, she is paving the way. There's a lot of female coaches in the league that are paving the way, but to have her right at her doorstep is pretty special.
And last one from Paul Miles. What is Bev's reputation among other players in the league who may not be interested in playing for Racing?
Hopefully great. No, I mean, I honestly do think she's got a great reputation among players. I've already seen, I mean, Twitter's been blowing up about how many players are congratulating her. And, I think that her reputation precedes her in the league. Obviously she played for a really long time, so she has like a very broad spectrum of people she's played with. And I think that that's very attractive to have, a former player, now a head coach, but also has, a lot of respect throughout the league. So yeah, hopefully, that keeps bringing all the talent to Louisville, because we're here for it. We're here for the wins. So